This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here with a previous interviewee of Good Food Revolution. We have Lorenzo Zonin, who is joining us this time all the way from Maremma in Tuscany, Italy. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
And you're well and healthy, and your family and friends are all good right now?
Yes, all are fine. You know that Italy was heavily hit by the
Yes.
coronavirus. Was probably one of the first country to be hit, but mostly were two cities, Milan and Bergamo.
Yes.
While, for example, Sicily was not hit by the coronavirus. So with few exceptions, but now we are almost out of it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, you were just telling me that you were actually in Barcelona in an apartment with your family when all of this hit. So you were locked down in another country with your family for 3 months.
Exactly. Actually, I was walking, freely in Barcelona. While my country, I was hearing the news from my country that a lot of things were going wrong, and I was advising the other people in Barcelona, saying, "Look, if this virus is hitting Italy, it's nonsense that is not hitting Spain.
Yeah, of course.
So please be careful." Because it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Just matter of days. And unfortunately, I was right, because the virus came to Spain, and mostly Madrid, hit mostly Madrid, Barcelona a little bit. But anyway, we had to follow the protocol and stay home.
Now, did that mean you were kind of directing operations at the wineries virtually?
Yeah, absolutely. I received samples at home, and I made all the blends at home. So it's gonna be quite a vintage to remember, this one, the 2019.
Yes. And was it not immensely worrying to be so far removed from your business for 3 months?
Actually, there were pros and cons. I mean, I've never been so much present within the family, with my kids. And, that for me was really important. And I realized how far I was from my family, how my family was growing. I have 2 kids, one, and a girl that is 5 years old. And I was losing, all the growing of my kids. So for me, this was good. The fact that we can be a little bit more away from working, this is.
I believe that many people have come to that realization throughout this pandemic. So everything was done to your satisfaction at the winery?
Yeah, in the winery, everything is going well. Also, because 2019 vintage was an excellent vintage.
Right.
Very, very balanced. Wines are not too heavy, but they have a finesse and elegance, and they have been, in the perfect balance already when we crushed it. We separate from the skins already. The wines were almost ready to be drink. And so I was completely relaxed, no reduction in the wines. And of course, there were a lot of fruit in it. So, and our cellar master is very precise, very clean. He always fill up the tanks to the top. He has very clinic eyes, and this is all you need. I'm more the artist of the group.
Right. Okay.
Trying to find a new protocols, new way, and trying to read every vintage. but then nobody can beat Nicolò in taking care of the wines later on.
So your babies were in good hands while you were sequestered in Barcelona.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, you must have missed being in the vineyards because you've always told me that you just love walking about in nature, and being cooped up in an apartment in Barcelona must have been trying for you, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I also grew up in a village of 3,000 people, where pretty much everybody has a vineyard, and a lot of people make wine for business or for pleasure. And I'm not a city guy, so for me was kind of an effort to stay in Barcelona, but at the same time, you know, being close to my family was also a privilege. Was really beautiful, you know. Taking care of my kids was the biggest present that coronavirus gave me.
You mentioned that the worry of everything going on had an impact upon your splendid facial hair.
Yeah, absolutely. My bear became white during
Wow. Wow.
coronavirus, and now that I'm in the vineyard again, it's coming black again. So it was really a reaction, a body reaction of being worried of the future. And you know, even if I look very calm and peaceful, probably inside there were a lot of thoughts
Yeah.
and worries.
How are things in your region now? Is everything getting back to normal?
Yes,
Good.
yes, it's getting back to normal, and quicker than other regions,
Right.
because I was going around in the cities, and the people are really relaxed, even if they follow the protocols.
Right.
But they are smiling. They are not shaking hand, but shaking elbows.
Yeah.
You know, like we do today, but with big smiles. And they go around, they visit. Of course, there's the possibility here in Maremma, because Maremma has not a lot of inhabitants.
Right.
So the people can go in fields, you know, have a barbecue outside in the garden, and the fact that they are working less is bringing more joy to their life.
Yeah.
I think.
And how are the restaurants in your region right now? Because that's always the big question for me. Restaurants, bars, cafes, and the like.
Yeah. Restaurants, I think, are still suffering a lot.
Right.
And from what I see, I think it's the capacity is about 20 to 30%. So probably it's not good for them to stay open, but
Yes.
they
Yeah.
have to do it. You know, they have to do it because the people have to see that they are open to start going there.
To
So a
have
lot
that
of restaurants are.
to have that confidence that it's safe to dine.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So the restaurants at the moment are suffering a little bit, but to get back to normal. But I think this is something that every business has to do. You know, also we are suffering because you know, we are living of tourism, and
Yeah.
tourism
Sure.
collapsed. A lot of bottles, a lot of Vermentino sold on the coast.
Of course.
Rosé,
Yeah. Yeah.
rosé wine. So a lot of orders. We have Vinitaly cancelled, Provine cancelled, two big fairs that usually you collect a few orders,
Mhm.
wine orders. And so we all know that we have to suffer a little bit, but it could have been worse. I mean,
Yes. So, what is going on in the winery right now, apart from the lack of tourism and people coming to visit? What's actually going on? What's the work that you're committing yourself to right now, whether it's in the vineyard or in the winery?
yeah, at the moment we are putting the vegetation inside the wires
Yeah.
to keep, yeah, and taking off some leaves that are on covering the cluster. So tidying up a little bit the vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
We are spraying from this year. We are trying to spread bacteria instead of copper and sulfur.
Okay.
So we will have a grape which are completely clean, and also the soil will be completely clean from sulfur and copper. And let's see, the vintage for us is quite good. We missed a lot of rains in the last few weeks.
Okay.
While, for example, Tuscany was especially inland, they were hit by a lot of rain. So I think they are struggling with spraying, because I think they have to spray so much, especially organic viticulture.
Yes, yeah.
Because the other viticulture, conventional viticulture, is more protected because they have these 20 days of protection. So it will be hard, I think, for organic producer this year, because they are struggling a little bit. Was kind of 2018 was similar for us. We were hit from a lot of rain, so we struggled a lot in 2018. But this vintage for us is better.
For those people unfamiliar with the bacterial treatment, the bacterial spraying, would you mind explaining that?
Yeah, it's how it works. It's quite easy. You spray these bacteria that have been selected from beans. Imagine,
Okay.
they found out these bacteria on beans. So they took it, they replicate, and now they are selling it. You spray it on the vegetation, and they colonize all the vegetation. So they are getting into in the middle of cells,
Mm-hmm.
and attacking the leaf of the vine without killing it, and they are in a way living together. There's a specific word for it, but
is it symbiosis that you're looking for?
They go in symbiosis with the vine, and they start to eat everything that is on the top of the vine. So if in case of a mold like mildew is trying to get over the leaves, they don't find any nutrients, and also they are attacked by these bacteria. So you have a double protection. So first, the colonization, which is covering completely the vegetation, so don't leaving any space for other living organisms. And on the other side is also preserving, because nature, when bacteria colonize something, they also produce some substances that avoid other bacteria to get in the middle. So it's quite easy, and it's really something fantastic.
This is your first year spraying with bacterium?
Yes, this is the first year. This is a fungus that has been recently discovered, and we are testing it, because if it really works, it's
it's fantastic if you can avoid using the copper sulfate, right? So
exactly,
yeah.
It's gonna be, yes, it's gonna be 100% organic, but real organic.
So if you're using these bacterium as your treatment, your spraying, how does that tie into the whole philosophy of biodynamics that you follow?
Because I think that people who are following the biodynamic approach have different ideas about biodynamic, different grades of following the biodynamic approach. If we look at the message that Rudolf Steiner gave to us, I think that he gave us a very important message, that is that we have to take care of the soil, because the soil is life. Mm-hmm. Right? It was called by the German farmers because they couldn't grow anything on their grounds because they used too much fertilizer.
Yes, yeah.
Right? So his message is very clear. You know, we have to give life to the soil. So no matter how you are gonna give life to the soil, this is a strong message, because when I started to make wine, you know, we were still putting herbicides, chemical fertilizer in the soil. So we were completely killing the soil. We were a slave of chemistry.
Yeah.
And in 1924, when Rudolf Steiner started, you know, the biodynamic, the knowledge about soil was at a certain point, right? But today, there's 1,000 of study by university, by some chemical companies, which are, you know, trying to understand what's going on in the soil. Mm. And there are new fertilizers, which are organic. There are these bacteria that you put on the leaves. So a lot of biodynamic producers, for example, they use sulfur and copper because it's permitted by biodynamic approach. But if you have something which is better than sulfur and copper, why not using it?
Yeah, you know? That makes sense.
So you have to have, you know, I think a wide vision of what is biodynamic today, because we are not anymore in 1924.
Of course.
So well, I think biodynamic is a little bit overrated in the last few years. Like it's giving us all the answer. It's not true. I mean, biodynamic is very important because says also that the winery and is a living organism, you know, where we have animals, insects, the man and nature all working together in the same place. You know, everyone doing the right thing and trying to find the harmony. This is, I think, the heart of biodynamic. Then if you spray the 500 or 501 one time, twice, 3 times, 4 times, that doesn't make sense. You know, it's not very important.
It's almost like a kind of token gesture towards biodynamic philosophy when people do that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, exactly. Lorenzo, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution today.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to see you, and hopefully we will have a chance to have a glass of wine at some point in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye for now.
Ciao. Bye.